This video is sponsored by K&F Concept. Hey, welcome back. It's been a while. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background. So for now, I'm just really happy to be back and enjoy a session of landscape photography. So in this video, I want to specifically talk about a couple of tips and tricks to improve your landscape photography, which I think now is the best time to do because spring is around and we're just getting started with great weather, great conditions, like the dull and flat days are over. So I'm really looking forward to the near future with hopefully a lot of great photography. So while I walk you through my first image, I want to explain two tips to you and explain why this image works. One of the first things that you can use to improve your landscape photography is to use a polarizer. So this is nothing new on my channel. A polarizer basically removes glare and reflections on surfaces and therefore brings out more of the color and more saturation. Just helps you really focus and emphasize certain things in your composition. Now if I spin this polarizer, it reveals a lot of color in the sky and at the same time it emphasizes the golden light that I have on these trees right now. So it just really helps to bring out the colors and take away a little bit of the distracting bright sky in the background. Yeah. Only thing that you got to be careful about is, depending on where the sunlight is coming from, there might be a little bit of darker patch in the sky. So just something to keep in mind. So for this one, I'm just going to spin it back a little bit. So I still have a little bit of polarization, but I don't have this very darkish spot in one part of the sky because I don't want that. The second thing on why this image is going to work is because I've chosen a very, very simplistic scene. Half of the image is sky, then we have this tree line with golden light on it, and then in the foreground it's just a little bit of these tracks as leading line and then just green. Super simple. So in landscape photography, less is often more. So I just wanted the scene to be as simple as possible. I might even crop it as kind of like a panoramic format, just to like even get rid of a little bit of the foreground and the sky, just to focus more on the tree line, the composition. So as simple as that, and on the back of the camera, I already quite like this image. Have a look over here. The sun is setting right over there behind me, and in front of me a lot of the tree line is still catching some golden light, you can see over there. And if I spin you up a little bit more upward, wait, let me zoom in, you can see the moon over there is quite visible. So I'm going to go further over in this direction because there's some open field in the hope of catching some golden light on the tree line and then having the moon in the sky as a black and white image, like very high contrast, and then yeah, just having the moon stick out in the sky pretty much. So yeah, gonna have a look at that. Maybe that will work. That would be quite cool. I think I'm gonna get this image just in time and also just how I imagined it in my mind. The next tip that I want to give you, which is very well represented in this image, is to shoot at sunrise or sunset. Just because golden hour will most likely gonna give you the best conditions. It is so often that a scene will make or break with the light, and yeah, sunrise or sunset will just give you the best light. Okay, just like how I mentioned, I said I'm just gonna get the scene in time, which I got, but now like talking about this, the light is gone. So I just had for probably 2 minutes golden light on the tree line, and then yeah, just more kind of like a more pinkish light, more like a magenta tone on the tree line further in the background, and it was just so beautifully lined up, make the trees stick out so much. And then as I've mentioned earlier, I've included the moon at the very top of my image. Now again, this is quite a simple scene. I do have a little bit of leading line, again just some tracks in the field. Then I had the golden light on the tree line, a little bit of background, and then a lot of empty space in the sky, and then yeah, the moon up in the sky. So again, it's quite a simple scene, a lot of empty space, but I think it works quite well, especially because of the light. Okay, so the sun just set over there. You can probably see a little bit of golden glow over there. And I have a little bit of hope that these clouds over there in the sky may catch some light, maybe some magenta pinkish, maybe some more golden light. So yeah, gonna head in that direction. Maybe, if we're lucky, that might be another shot. So while I'm walking over there, let me talk about the next tip that I want to share with you. And that is to shoot black and white. So depending on how this image turned out, you might have already seen a black and white version of the image that I've just taken with the moon, but it was just very hard to judge it on the back of the camera. Now black and white can be very useful, especially in very dramatic scenes, but also when the light is not quite ideal, black and white can really save your day. That's how I personally like to treat my images. Whenever I just can't seem to make the colors just work right, that's when I prefer to use black and white, just to get rid of the colors, to make it just focus on contrast and on shades of light and dark. So depending on the scene, I think that black and white can be a quite useful tool and really help you emphasize and focus on certain areas of the image. There's a bat flying around right in front of me. It's quite cool. Okay, so this image, it's a little bit unideal, but at the same time, I do quite like it. First of all, I really like the sky reflections in the water. It's such a rich and deep blue. It looks so beautiful on the back of the camera. And then, because the light is already quite fading and it's very kind of darkish, I have a 6-second exposure time, which evens out the water surface, and it just helps amplify the blue and the colors even more. And then what I also quite like is the 3 stones in the foreground that I've lined up. They just give a lot of balance and harmony in the image. Yeah, I really like the way that they framed up. Again, I do have the polarizer on just to help amplify the blue color a little bit, but then at the same time, because the polarizer darkens the image a little bit, it's going to give me a little bit longer exposure time. As I've mentioned, we are at 6 seconds. I mean, I can probably up it already, so we're going to be at 8. Now, what I don't quite like about this image is, first of all, on the right hand side, there are a couple of branches which are quite distracting. They're not as distracting because it is already quite dark and this image is more about the shade and the light and then like this bluish color. And then obviously I have the stones in the foreground which are very much prominent. So it's not really as strong of a distraction, but it's still somewhat visible. It's not ideal, but I can deal with that. The second thing is, just while I had my tripod set up, the street lines, you can probably see them in the background, they turned on. And I think this image might have worked better without, but yeah, I can't really do anything about that, so I'm gonna take it as it is. So at least with the street light right next to me, I'm properly lit up and it looks like I'm in a studio scene. That's quite cool. Okay, so the final tip that I want to share with you today has nothing to do with this image, and it's just to be out there. So it's very simple to be in a great location, have a great sunrise or sunset and come away with great images. But at the same time, sometimes you're just going to be out there with your camera, not expecting anything at all, and then an image can just reveal itself to you, and you might very well again come away with an amazing image. So the more you're out there, the more you're shooting with your camera, the more time you're spending in the outdoors and practicing landscape photography, the more you're going to come away with great images. So I personally think this is the advice with the most value. So if you're out there and you're constantly trying to improve your landscape photography, get more creative and just spend time outdoors, then you're gonna get great images, as simple as that. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share and subscribe to my channel. If you're interested, I have a landscape photography course. It's the first link in the description, and I teach you everything that you need to know about landscape photography, being out in the field, settings of your camera, post-processing, everything you need to know to start out. Or if you do like the look of my images, I have presets available. It's also in the description. You might want to give that a look. So thank you for watching and see you in the next one.